If you don't smile.
Welcome to my show today. I am just so excited. I'm elated. I'm over the moon. My guest for today is the famous, infamous, one-of-a-kind Nelson Sardelli. Hi, Nelson.
How are you? How are you? You forgot the word curmudgeon.
Curmudgeon. You're so many things. But first of all, I gotta find out. Flag upside down. What is this?
Well, if you're just paying attention to what's happening to our wonderful country,
Yes.
you know that we're a little bit in trouble.
Yeah.
And as long as things remain like this, the flag will stay upside down.
Okay.
Yeah. You see, I'm very. I have to watch. No, well, actually, I don't
You can
care.
say anything you want.
No,
You're
it's
with
simple.
family.
It's simple.
Yeah.
You know, just the border alone. You
Yeah.
cannot even. You don't have to talk about anything else.
Yeah.
I am an American by choice, by citizenship, by naturalization, and connections, of course. And
Okay, connections.
no, I'm an American by choice.
Yeah.
I came to the States in 1956 at the age of 21. I had this much documentations proving that I was healthy, that my character was being proven to be decent, that had something to offer. And I also had a sponsor here that would guarantee that I would have never become a public charge, that
Sure.
they would never worry about me. And I believe that is called, immigration and naturalization.
Correct.
My father went from
Absolutely.
Italy to Brazil. And one thing that he told me then, he says, when you move into another country, you become part of it. And don't go there and say, oh, in my country this, in my country that. If your country says, well, just go back.
That's right.
It's still the country that I was born in. I love it, but
Right.
I'm an American.
Right.
I'm a gung-ho American. And if I am reelected,
Okay, so you're running now.
yeah, no,
This is a good show, folks.
no. It's all beautiful.
Yeah.
We're so blessed to be living in this country to begin with.
Sure.
But I always tell a little bit of an analogy, very, very simple. Suppose if this is America and it's a beautiful garden,
Right.
and I sit here and say, wow, what a wonderful garden. You say, gee, it's so beautiful, this garden. Look at the beautiness. And then tomorrow, a weed springs here. I don't pull it, you don't pull it, and I say, gee, what a beautiful country. And then another,
Yeah.
and another. All of a sudden, and we cannot
always-
be fooling
Yeah.
ourselves. We got to
Yeah.
do something. We got to get involved. We got to try to inform ourselves. Anyway, as far as we just saw the State of the Union, you just go buy groceries and you see right then and there
Sure.
the State of the Union. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, my wife and I gave up eating to save some money. Yeah.
No wonder she's so skinny. Honest to God. Nelson, I thought you quit feeding her.
Yeah, no. We agreed together, say, no,
Yeah.
we don't eat, we don't put gasoline in the car, nothing. I mean, we just, yes. So, we live also in a wonderful city.
Yes.
In fact, I'm a part of a CNN documentary.
Yes.
Yeah, next Sunday and the following Sunday, there'll be the last two episodes. In the second episode, I had 4 seconds on
Okay.
CNN. They saw me.
Wow. So are you going to go up to 8 in the next two?
The next, I'm hoping for the next one, I go to 80. Not because it was funny.
Yeah.
The producer called me and he was so complimentary.
Yeah.
He said, Nelson, you contribute,
Yeah.
And I said, I hope my contribution was not those 4 seconds,
Yeah.
But it's a good documentary. It talks
Yeah.
about Vegas. They primarily start around the 50s, and they talk about how segregation was for entertainers and everything else. But
Do you remember that?
no, I don't, because I came to Vegas in 1965. I still know where the bodies are buried, but I came in 1965.
That's another show.
No, it's I would not know where to live in any other city.
Right.
Las Vegas for me
It's home.
is home.
Yeah,
I mean, totally and completely.
yeah,
I've lived in Italy. I spent a lot of times in Australia, whatever. But that's it for me. It's
Sure.
Las Vegas.
yeah, yeah.
It is great. It is indeed.
So,
Yes.
so you said 1965.
That's when I came to Vegas.
Okay, where did you start on the Strip, Nelson?
Well, in 1964, I came to Vegas for the first time.
Uh-huh.
In fact, I had really my thing is clicking here.
Yeah, okay.
I have very little knowledge of how the city works. So I remember looking for a
Yeah.
cheap motel.
Yeah.
And I stayed in this cheap motel that for the same price, I could have stayed in any one of the
Of
big
the high
hotels.
ones.
But I did not know, see?
Yeah,
So I got to meet a few people, and they introduced me to Jerry Schaefer. At the time, Jerry Schaefer was a boy wonder.
Okay.
He had a lot of productions going for him, and he brought big stars, Judy Garland, Jack Benny, and whatever. And so they introduced me to him. And at the time, he had afternoon shows.
oh,
A
okay.
2 o'clock show and a 4 o'clock show, and you'd be surprised that was always full house.
Like now, you know,
Yeah.
people like to be in the afternoon shows, like the Fiore. Yeah,
So I was introduced to him just before the show was on, and he says, "So you're an entertainer?" He says, "I'm going to put you on," and he put me on, and I did my shtick,
yeah,
And he says, "I'll get back to you." I say, "Sure,
yeah.
I'll call you. Yeah, my people get a hold of your people." And a few months went by, and he called me. And he brought me to the show, which I was not, at the time, I didn't come to be the star. I hate to use that word.
Yeah,
The closing act for that show. I was next to it. But after the first show, he says, "No, we changed because
how good you were.
yeah. It was funny. That time was a funny time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the FBI because I knew some people before I came to town. Because every entertainer, we meet everybody,
Sure, yeah,
And I don't ask what you do and what it is, but in Kansas City, I met the big man. In St. Louis, I met the big man, and I got along fine. So when I came here, they went to Jerry Schaefer, and they said, "Who told you to put him on the show?" At that time, they were really trying to infiltrate, the FBI, knowing
Yeah.
about the mafia being. And Jerry Schaefer said, "Have you seen the act?"
yeah,
The guy said, "No." He says, "Well, go see the show and you'll see why I put him."
Yeah.
But they came to my house.
They came to your house.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, that's not the first time. And and I
You're
remember...
infamous.
Yeah. I remember they put 21 pictures
Yeah.
on the table.
Yeah, 21 pictures.
21, never forgot it. The way it was 3 rows of 7.
Yeah.
And the guy said, "Who do you know in this picture?" I look, I say, "I know 20 of them. One I do not know." It's funny because usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
People will say, "Oh, I think they put somebody," and the guy that I did not know was an agent. No, it was an agent.
Oh,
They put
really?
it there purposely.
Yeah.
I say, "No, I know this guy here because I remember playing with a BB gun and I shot the windshield of his car. This guy here helped me to buy my car. This guy here was very mad when they stole my painting from the lobby." I had a story with everybody. And it was fun.
Yeah.
Was an interesting
Well, of
time.
course, yeah.
Yeah. But, but the funny thing is, we're talking, years ago in St. Louis, when I was beginning my career, I had a manager that me, stupidly, I signed a contract with him for 33.33%. That's a boxer's contract, because,
Is that what they wanted? 33 and a 30?
yeah, but, I was a greenhorn and I
Yeah.
wanted to open doors.
Sure.
But this guy was just embarrassing me. He was doing nothing. I had reached a certain little level, and
Yeah.
I began to see it,
And you knew.
And at that time, I was very friendly with John Vitale, JV, from St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah. Huh?
Again, they tell me allegedly that maybe, perhaps, he was connected. None of my business. To me, he was a gentleman.
He treated you good.
Not only this,
Yeah.
he had to do, he had the market in St. Louis. I used to go there after the show and play soccer with him with oranges,
Yeah.
So we became very friendly, very nicely.
Yeah.
And one day in conversation, I said, this Joe Ferraro is really, ruining my move forward.
Right.
He says, let me talk to him. And I remember the next night we came and we were there, Joe, me, and JV. And JV says, Joe, Nelson would like to get out of the contract. And he said that he would give you 5% for the rest of his career, just, So, no, I got a contract for 33. And he says, let me see this contract. He looked at the contract. He says, yeah, but he's giving you 5%. Don't you want? He says, no. He says, then you got nothing. And that was the end.
That was it. He got you out of it.
Yeah, but let me tell you, that's not the story. The story is that I go to him, I say, after, the next day, I
Yeah.
say, JV, would you like to be my manager? And he told me, he says, Nelson, Nelson is my maiden name. He says, Nelson, the day when your name and mine go together, you have more problems than you can imagine. So how can you not respect the guy that says that?
Sure.
Next day, I am in my little place, rented, of course, in a hotel. I had a little suite.
Right.
FBI.
They came to see
The
you.
next day, two guys came to says, can we come in? I says, please do. And I remember the time my little apartment was a mess, had a lot of furniture covered because my friend Armando Campero, who was a Mexican muralist, was painting a portrait of me, It was beautiful.
Do you have that at home?
No, at one time I got mad and I slashed with a razor blade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's another
That's
story.
another story.
See, I'm finding out all kinds of fun things about
we
Nelson.
haven't scratched the surface. But so the FBI came and says, can we talk to you? He says, please come in. My father was a cop, so I always been a supporter of police, and
Yeah.
I have more certificates of honor legion for supporting
Yeah,
widows and orphans of policemen killed on the line of duty.
right.
I'm a hero. So
Yes, you are.
so what? So the guy says, what is your association with JV? I almost laughed. I said, do you really want to know? He says, yeah. I said, let me tell you, yesterday, by coincidence, I asked him this and that. And he told me the day when your name and mine go together, you have trouble. I said, I can see that he knew what he was talking about. And I remember the guy looking at each other,
Yeah.
And he said, are you going to tell him that we came to talk to you? I said, the moment you leave. So the moment you leave, I'll call him, because the same
Right.
way you saw me talking to him, you may see me talking to you,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be in the middle of nothing.
There you go.
You want more of that kind of a story?
Yeah.
That's going to be my book. Another night, I am having dinner at the house of Mr. Cusumano
Cruzavano.
in St. Louis, Missouri. Cusumano was the kind of guy that his 5 o'clock shadow was at 7 o'clock in the morning after he shaved. You know what I mean? Hair in his finger. He was an impressive character.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, he was gentleman.
Yeah.
Like his wife was lovely, but Joe Cosimano. And I was there having dinner with him with the same muralist company. Oh my God, I just said the guy's name and I forgot. The guy that was painting my portrait.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're sitting there, and every 50 minutes they say, "What time is it, Nelson?" I said, "Well, it's 5:45. It's like 6 o'clock, 6:15. Then
Every
in
15
the
minutes.
back of my mind, I say, maybe we're not just having dinner, I'm being an alibi here, in case somebody's found,
Yeah.
But anyway,
Incapacitated or dead.
yeah. But anyway, in a conversation, that was before I talked to JV, I said,
Yeah.
I was talking about this guy that was my manager.
Yeah.
I said, this Joe is really bugging me. Now, hold this, please.
Yeah.
Okay, give it back to me.
Okay.
You see, there is a reason why I did this. You notice the way I say, hold this, and there was no reason for you not to take it.
Correct.
He looked at me, we're sitting down,
Yeah.
and when I say, he looked at me with the same ease that I say, hold this, he says, you want me to kill him. Exactly. I was thanking God that I was already sitting down because I had lost
Oh, yeah, you were going to
my
fall down.
legs. And I remember that in 2 seconds, I remember praying and say, "Dear Lord, let the expressions of my face match the words from my mouth so there is no misunderstanding." I say, "Oh no, I love it." I don't know if he was putting me on or not, but at that time, for me, was
Well, yeah,
as
scared
real
me.
as it gets.
Scared the hell
all
out of
those things are funny looking back
Yeah.
because, but I was very lucky. I never got involved with anything. I was, I got along with everybody. But,
Well, that was St. Louis.
yeah, that was.
So how many years were you in St. Louis?
No, I lived in St. Louis for a little while because at one time I was bouncing,
Across the country?
Oh my gosh, I at the time I really didn't have a house because it was 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, 2 weeks there. I lived in New York for a little while. And, it was part of finding myself, Yeah. But in those days also, in the bracket that I was at the time, there was continuous work. You would do 2 weeks Kansas City, 2 weeks in St. Louis, 2 weeks in Santa Fe, 2 weeks
So
in
you work your way-
Albuquerque. So
Yeah.
by the time you do 2 weeks or 4 weeks, you make the circuit. You're working all the time, but
Right.
you live here, you live here, you live there, you live there,
So
It's-
that was, what was that before? That was before Las Vegas?
Oh, God, yes.
What was that in the
See, in my
50s?
days, it's another thing.
Yeah.
In my days when you came to Vegas, again, no matter in what plateau of show business you were,
Right.
you already came with a ready show. You had already found yourself.
Right.
Nowadays, people come and break their acts here,
Right.
which, that's why.
Yeah.
But, those days I was, going here, going there, and got to meet the country.
You were well seasoned by the time you got to Las
I
Vegas.
wasn't-
You were well seasoned because you.
Well,
got-
I had
yeah.
developed my act because, even the developing of my act was funny.
Yeah.
First, I came to America. I knew I was going to be in show business. I knew that.
You could feel it?
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
did not know what I was
Which-
talking about. You got to be realistic. Because in Brazil, I went to study opera. Oh,
I didn't know that.
Oh, God, me and Benito Maresca. You can Google Benito
Okay.
Maresca. Benito stayed with, and he sang all over the world. He was a leading man. Benito and I went to study opera. But when you study opera, there is no room for levity. Either you study opera or you're going to be holding the spear in the background for the rest of your career.
Wow.
I didn't have a spear. But I mean, and not only this, the teacher, he tells you, you don't talk until next Thursday when you come back. You treat your voice as a Stradivarius. Are you kidding me? Not talking for a whole
I
week?
can't picture you.
That's what I'm saying. I went for a couple of weeks, and then I said, no, it's not for me.
Yeah.
You know, this is why I said Benito stayed. So I kind of jump myself. I have the tendency sometimes of bouncing all over the.
That's okay.
That's okay. So I knew I came to America, I would be in show business, but I did not know. I got here in 6 months. I was drafted, served in the Army. Didn't you feel safer
Yes.
back then?
Yes, of course I did.
And
And it was all because of you.
yeah, of course. And me and John Wayne.
Yes.
Yeah. he never served. So anyway, after I got out of the Army, I went back to teaching dancing, you know.
Oh, you were a dance teacher
Oh,
too.
when I first came to the States.
See, we're finding out
Oh.
the inside story of Nelson.
Yeah.
This is going to be to be continued.
Arthur
every
Murray.
week.
Arthur Murray, yes, sure. Could even speak English, and I was trying to teach the old girls that had, you know, the gold course, and they knew much more than I did, and yet I had to fill up their time by teaching them. That's when I invented the salvation step. You know, step here, twist, double,
Yeah.
dip.
Oh,
I said, do
really?
you know that one? I said, no. I said, let's invent it. So, when I got off the Army, I didn't want to do that anymore, even though I was teaching my student privately. I
Sure.
was making a lot of money because on Sundays I would get a group of 15 couples, and everyone paid $30. So,
So you were a dance teacher.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
no big deal.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that anymore. So I was looking for something else. A cousin of my uncle
Okay.
that in Brazil
Okay.
had a job in construction job. And he says, Nelson, I can get you there. I said, let's go for it. I went there to work in construction job
You in construction.
one day.
Okay.
I went to construction job, and when you're the Greenhorn,
Yeah.
you know, you do the heavy crap.
Were you hauling water? And
Not only, no, hauling the frames.
Yeah.
And I remember that I was working so hard that the guy came to me and says, you know, easy. So you make everybody look bad. I said, well, I thought it was a day work for a day's pay.
Yeah.
He says, yeah, sure, but, you know,
Yeah.
pace yourself.
Yeah.
To make the story short, I came in that home, I had pains.
I'll bet you did.
Yeah, but I don't mean pains here and here. My pain was over here. Was so much pain, and I couldn't take it. I sat down and I talked to God. I said, you know, dear Lord, if that's why I came to America, I could have stayed in Brazil. I was with General Motors, economic research and analysis division. I didn't have to do this. You know, help me along.
Yeah.
So I didn't go back to construction job. That night I went to meet a girl that had been the Miss Detroit or Miss Michigan, something. I went to meet her in this restaurant,
Okay.
the Old Mill Tavern in Waterford, Michigan.
So you moved up to Michigan. We
I
left
was,
St.
no,
Louis
that
and
was,
moved to
that wasn't,
Michigan.
oh no, I came to the States to Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Because my sponsor was in Michigan, Pontiac, Michigan. When Pontiac was kind of pretty then.
Yeah.
And I went to meet this girl, and I sat in the bar, and I don't drink, you see.
Yeah.
And the owner, Mr. Dorman, came to me and he sat next to me because he had never seen me before.
Yeah.
And I'm asking for orange juice and stuff. And he was feeling me around. And I remember he says, he talked, and then in that place there was a piano player, it was a supper club.
Yeah.
And she used to play in any key. Irene Bader was her name.
Okay.
And people would get up and sing with her. It was I think, the early karaoke days, but,
Yeah.
they sang with her, and she was great. So I was there waiting for the girl. I couldn't. And he says, why don't you sing to me?
Yeah.
I look at him and say, why don't you dance? What kind of conversation is this? He says, no. He said, you guys have a lot of rhythm. I said, you guys? What are we talking about here? He says, no, you get up and sing. I don't know what came over me. I went to the piano. The songs I knew, because every Brazilian we sang, Mardi Gras, we sang.
Yeah.
But all the songs that I knew, she didn't know.
Okay.
And we kept looking for songs I knew, and I came up with Volare, Bésame Mucho,
Yeah.
Rock Around the Clock,
Yeah.
and there was another one that Nelson kids sang, and I can't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, a repertoire big,
Yeah.
and I got up and sang. And the people applauded.
Well, of course.
You
Well,
know.
you're a fantastic
No,
singer.
no. I mean, it was just one of those weird things. I never thought of me. And the guy came to me, says, I want you to come to work here. I said, what? He says, you work every Friday. I said, and every other Saturday. I said, are you sure? He says, yeah. So now I go like crazy looking for lyrics because I knew all the melodies.
Right.
Blue Moon and all that.
Yeah.
We're talking
Yeah.
1956, 57, 58.
Yeah.
So I got all the lyrics. I went to work on a Friday, and I remember singing Braille style, Blue moon, you saw me standing alone without a dream. No, I had to, because I had to read the lyrics. After the Friday came to me, says, next week we start Friday and Saturday. I did that. Then I gained Thursday. I gained Wednesday. I gained Tuesday. I keep gaining day. And I
Yeah.
worked there for 10 months.
Did you?
I had lyrics that went from Come Back to Sorrento to, Mississippi Mud. I mean, I was singing all kinds of stuff.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's so that was it. Then I sang in Chicago because I was in Chicago to get a visa to take a car to Brazil. Then those days you would buy a car for 2,000 here, sell
Oh,
that
and send
for
it
11.
back to, in
But I
Brazil?
didn't have the money, but a friend of mine, the guy that brought me to this
Right.
country, says, you take the car,
Yeah.
and I'll pay you for the trip, and you can see your mother and everything. I hadn't been back to Brazil, so I said, why not? That was 1959. So I was in Chicago at the Ivanhoe restaurant just waiting for the visa to get in so I would go back to Brazil. And this guy came to me and says, you are in show business. I say, yeah, I mean, I'm singing
Sure.
in the little place
Yeah.
in Waterford, Michigan. All of a sudden I hear somebody calling my name.
Wow.
I got up there and again I sang. And the guy says, I need you here starting next week for 2 weeks because they had the furniture convention. I said, sir, I'm sorry. I got a job
Right?
in Michigan.
Yeah.
He says, I'll pay you double. Immediately, I was getting a lot of money in Michigan.
Yeah.
So if you're going to pay me double.
Yeah.
So I called my boss and say, can I stay? He says, go ahead. Because then when we come back, it's direct from Chicago.
Oh, my God.
And I sang that for 2 weeks and went back, things. And then I went to Brazil. While I'm waiting for the car to be liberated, I was invited to sing in television. Then I sang in São Paulo. Then I came back. Now I'm an international entertainer.
yes, you
I'm
are.
not lying. It's Brazil and USA. And that's how things developed.
That's how it works.
But I was singing. And then one day in Detroit, Michigan, at the Cliff Bells, I tried to tell my first joke. Oh.
Didn't work too well?
No, because, see, the language play a very important,
Well, of course,
in humor,
yeah.
you cannot.
Yeah.
So the joke that I was telling, very funny in Brazil, was something about a canary.
Okay.
That was the punchline. It's
Yeah.
about a canary.
Okay.
And so I was singing, and I was not supposed to be telling jokes, but I decided to tell that joke that night.
Yeah.
And instead of canary, I said canary.
Oh, jeez.
Nobody laughs. Nobody laughed. I look at them, I said, what's wrong with these people? But I fell apart like I could die. And then the boss, this guy was so sharp, you know,
Yeah.
he dressed impeccably. I think there was, you know, what you call when you press
Yeah.
this here,
Yeah.
in his
This-
underwear.
oh, my God.
You know, exactly.
Seems in his underwear. Huh?
Exactly a half an inch of shirt, so perfect. He came to me and says, Nelson, from now on, just sing. That day, I
That
couldn't
had to break your
find,
heart.
I couldn't find my way home because I knew that,
You were so low.
well, I knew that if nothing else, I was funny. I knew
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
think funny, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I couldn't find my way. But then it slowly, a joke here, a joke there, not
And you
there,
worked your way
someplace
down.
else.
Yeah.
15 years later, I'm singing at the Flamingo. I'm the guest,
Yeah.
again, the word star.
Yeah.
I was the guest star of the Mills Brother. By then, I'm doing my act the way I do.
Yeah.
And this guy was in the audience. And he came to me after the show. He says, I am glad you did not follow my advice. I hugged him. I said,
Yeah.
you son of a bitch. I said, you don't realize
What you did to
this
me."
means to me
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that day you floored me. I said that was the end of it, you know.
Yeah.
But those things are funny because,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, it happens. Anybody molds you.
Yeah. Of course it does.
I'm talking too much about me. Let's talk about you.
Well, it was interesting because I've watched a lot of your videos that you've done, and but I've never heard this story. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. So you know what? We're going to need to do a couple more shows with you.
At least.
Yes. Yeah.
Either a couple of a dozen,
Oh,
one,
at least,
one of the
at least,
two.
at least a
One of the
dozen,
two.
because this is the beginning.
No,
So obviously, you take me as a very good friend. Is that correct?
No, you're a good interviewer because, can I tell you something? The secret
Yes.
of your job is to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
You are listening and you're not concerned about what's your next question.
No.
We are having a conversation, and that is beautiful.
Yeah.
I've been to a couple of shows that I couldn't believe it. One time I was singing in Boston, and I can't say it for sure, but I think the interviewer was the guy that had the suspender on television for many years.
Larry King?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I can't remember. And I remember that I went to a show. After my shows, 1 o'clock in the morning, drove to Boston, and every time he would ask me a question, he says, where are you from? I said, I'm from Brazil. Oh, Brazil, pa, 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 pa. I said, okay. He says, I said, I am Italian descent. Italy, Italy, pa, 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 and the pasta and this.
Yeah.
And I got to a point, I said, excuse me, if I'm going to hear you talk, I could have stayed in my hotel. I had to say it,
Sure.
But this is what I say. You got that, which is, for anybody in my position to be interviewed, you are the secret of how I behave. A lot of the things that I may
Yeah.
be saying
Yeah.
is not that interesting to the people at home, but it's not your fault.
It is interesting.
No, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It is.
Of
I mean,
course.
yeah.
Yes. Well, I definitely want to have you back, but here's the thing.
Hmm.
You're into Fiore, so we're almost out of time
Yeah.
this time. But tell
The
us
Fiore.
about your Fiore Club, because everybody needs to be a member of the
Of
Fiore
course,
Club.
of
if
course.
they're
Not
ever
only
with the
this,
club.
it behooves entertainers
Yes.
to come and introduce themselves to our crowd. What is the Fiore?
Yeah.
Years ago, I started first a group of people called the Cast. That was a serious group that we would get and help entertainers that were down and out.
Okay.
But when you deal with entertainers, you're dealing with egos.
Right.
And I don't have time for that.
No.
So after a few months, I couldn't get straight answer for the guy that was keeping the money. And I said, I'm out. I finished. Then I joined some other people that had groups, and I went there. There was a group of the grandsons of Italians, and the guy want to conduct for 18 people. You want to use the gavel? I said, you out of your mind, you know. So I was looking to start something, and I came with the idea. I said, I'm going to get the Fiore. Fiore is acronym, right?
Right. Tell the audience what.
Fiore, Fiore.
Yes.
Fun Italians organizing ridiculous events. And to be a member, you must be Italian or not. See, we're very adamant about that.
Yeah.
In fact, we have more Jews than we have Italians. But
Perfect.
so it's a group that we have no agenda.
Right.
We have no reason to be other than friends getting together. But through the years became just guys, then I brought ladies, and then live music all the time. First was just a piano player.
Really?
And then through the years, every time there is live music, at least a trio, Gary Anderson, fantastic.
He's wonderful.
Emmy award winner musician.
Yeah.
And so it became a thing that we meet every second Thursday for the last 10 or 15 years, where we found our place, the Italian American Club.
Yes.
And they open for us alone, because the Italian American Club doesn't open until 5 o'clock
Right.
for the people. But on the second Thursday of the month, they open for us. And we have the greatest group of people that come.
Yes.
Like, again, no agenda, but we have live music. We have great guest speakers. We have had doctors, governors. We had an 80-year-old stripper. You know what I mean?
I missed it.
Oh, you did, because she was funny. She did at 80 years old, she did a bit with those
Yeah.
dress that cover the
Yeah.
whole body.
Yeah.
Look like you're naked, but you're not. and she had a lot of humor. It was funny.
Yeah.
So we had that. We had big stars that were Marty Allen,
Yes.
Pat Cooper, Steve Rossi, Vinny Adnolfi, Rich Little. Everybody has been a
guess.
guest, and
Yeah.
some of them members, And to be a member, it costs you $25 a year. I mean, no, pardon me, I lied. $25 to join.
Yes.
Once you join, it's $20 a year, because we have to have a few bucks, because
Sure.
musicians, I don't ask nobody to play for nothing.
Right.
Musicians, and we have many other expenses. And it's amazing. We average anywhere from, well, an average is not anywhere from, but we go from sometimes 100 to 160 people.
Well, you have a meeting coming up this Thursday.
This
don't
Thursday,
you?
every second Thursday. And this coming now,
Well, how do people reach you, Nelson, to be able to do
they
this?
say, "Hi, Nelson."
All right, smarty pants.
No, we have a website. It's www.nonclubclubfiore.club.
Okay.
.club.
.club.
That's one.
All right.
And they can just read that, because it gives an explanation of what we're all about.
Okay.
And once we like for people that come know what we're all about.
That's right.
In all the 21 years I've been doing this, it's going to be 21 years
21
in
years.
July.
Wow.
I only kicked out 2 people because they didn't understand the concept. I said, don't come back.
Yeah.
Don't come back.
Yeah.
And one time, the first guy that I kicked out was the time when they had that Italian earthquake. And after I kicked out, he called me. He says, "Can I help you?" When he knew that I was going to do something for the Italian earthquake. I said, he deserves to come back.
Yeah.
So I
So you brought
invited
him
him
back?
back again.
Wow.
But the other one I did. No, but it is really a fun group. Sometimes
Yeah.
I put so much work in it. And I said, gee, I'm putting more work in this than I put in my career.
Right.
But
But you enjoy it, though.
no, I want to quit. But my wife,
Well, Lorraine is awesome.
she's
She is.
not only
She's
the
your
woman is a
angel.
blessing. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
I've been, again, with the grace of God, I've been very lucky with the women in my life, starting for my mother, my sister, and my first wife, which I was not a great husband to her, but she was a wonderful wife, and I got wonderful kids, and now I got Lorraine. Lorraine is, like I said, is a blessing.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
Yeah, not only this, I told her what kind of guy I was before.
And she loves you no matter.
Well, no, I
Yes.
felt that we should start on an even keel. I
Yeah.
said, I was a little a bastard. Can I say bastard?
Yeah, you can. You can say
I
anything you
was,
want to say.
A man has got to realize that
Yeah,
I had a lot to
yeah,
develop. Not only, it was not just exactly a matter of character, but it was a matter of culture, upbringing.
right.
I'm a Brazilian by birth, born to Italians.
That's quite,
know,
that's quite a,
Part of our
Yeah.
culture was, you're married, it's one thing, but then you have a comare on the side.
oh, okay.
Oh, a comare, yeah.
We don't do that with.
No,
with
no,
Lorraine.
no, no,
She
Lorraine,
told
no,
you
not
no.
only this, I got Lorraine a concealed carry weapon.
Okay, well then she'll take care of you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's it.
Well, Nelson, would you please come back and be a part of my show?
I'll tell you, I can
Yeah.
stay over for tomorrow.
Well, we're definitely going to have Nelson back again
Thank
because
you.
we've only touched the surface of his life. And again, I thank you so much for coming with us.
Thank you,
And
thanks.
being a part of the show.
And for you at home, if I bore you, what the hell?
Oh, this is too good. And you need to go to the Fiore Club again. It's this
Yeah.
Thursday and
Every second Thursday of the month at 11 o'clock, we open the doors.
right. The food is fantastic, all the people, the camaraderie.
music is
You'll
great.
fall in love, and the music is fabulous, and you get a chance to talk to Nelson yourself. So please come back and see us again. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. This is Suzy's Las Vegas. Enjoy. Thank you.